Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to another beer review on Cheer Beers. On this review, we're looking at beer that I can't get in Ohio, but I took a trip to Pittsburgh. Picked a case of a mixed six-pack up. So there was 4 different beers. This was one of them. It's from the Duck Rabbit Brewery. This is their brown ale. They're from Farmville, North Carolina. I don't really know anything about this beer. It doesn't say a lot on the bottle. It came in that case. There was 4 different beers, a 6-pack of each one. It was $35. So let's go ahead and get into the Duck Rabbit Brown Ale. The smell is actually interesting. It's nothing like what I thought it was going to be. Kind of in a bad way. It's smelling like more of a beer with, like a German beer or an English beer with that malt. That's just a kind of a pale German malt. That's all I'm really smelling in the initial whiff there. Yeah, the nose is almost so mild on this beer, it's hard to really pick anything else out. You're just getting some of that, I guess, foreign malt taste, English malt, English bitter taste, or smell. Just not a lot to the smell really at all. Here we go, cheers. All right, the taste is much different than the smell. You're getting a touch of bitterness actually through the whole taste. Then a little bit of sweetness from the malt, and it's super, super light overall. Not too bad so far. This is actually reminding me more of a red ale, definitely, than a brown ale. I would say it doesn't have a lot of sweetness to it, which I enjoy in brown ales, or a chocolate roastiness. It's just more of that straight kind of amber taste that you get, just that straightforward malt. I don't know what that malt is, but it's just, you get that straightforward taste. It's not sweet, it's just very middle of the road. There's nothing either, it's not overly sweet, it's not roasty, it's just right in the middle. It's just kind of that malt that is there, I guess you would say. It's nothing special so far. I'm getting some hops there towards the end, not a lot, maybe a little bit of citrus hops right at the end coming through, just enough to where you notice them, but not too much to where they're overpowering. And then really, it's just a really light, very carbonated beer. I'm going to let this one warm up for a little bit, and I'll come back with my final thoughts, my rating on the Duck Rabbit Brown Ale. Okay, back with my final thoughts and my rating of the Duck Rabbit Brown Ale. I grabbed the 6-pack carrier to see if there was anything on there. The only thing I could find was it says loaded with hops from start to finish, and that is definitely not the case here, really at all. It's actually just a very, very, very mild beer. It's very, very light, decently carbonated. There's not a lot of body there. Not a huge hop presence. You can tell there's a little bit of hops in there. They don't overpower the beer. They're just kind of taking their seat in the background. And then there's just some very light malt taste. It's a super, super light beer. It reminds me of it reminds me more of an amber than a brown ale. I'm trying to think of a beer that it's similar to, maybe like an Amber Bock or an Amstel Light, something like that. It actually reminds me more along the lines of those beers. So I could recommend this to someone who's trying to get into new beer, and they drink light beer and they want to try to take a step up. If you can get this, maybe pick it up, see what you think of it. It's a good starter beer, but on my scale, I can't give this more than a 3. It's just really not a good brown ale at all. Once, for a person like me, I really enjoy, some kind of roasted malt, just a nice malt characteristic, and maybe a decent hop characteristic. It just didn't get that from this beer. So if you've had this one, let me know. I hope that it's not, it's not dated to where it'd be old. It's, I'm drinking this a couple months before it's going to expire. As what it said on the bottle. So I don't know. I picked it up at a beer store in Pittsburgh. It was in not a warm room, but it was not refrigerated. So that could play a factor. I know I've had their Milk Stout, and it's very good. You can check that review out. But if you've had this beer, let me know. Let me know what you thought of it. Leave me a comment, rate, thumbs up, subscribe, and until next time, cheers.